Well, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Legends and Loggers. My name is Zac Wohlstein, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother.
Parker Wohlstein, and I'm a forester and a wildlife biologist.
And today we are covering the story of a creature that terrorized the French countryside for 3 years. A monstrous animal known as the Beast of Geavudan. I've been practicing.
Excellent.
This creature has a crazy body count and has left a lot of carnage behind. But before we dive into that, Fuzz, what you drinking?
This one, I've been saving this beer because this is on par. I got Turbo Dog.
Oh, look at the eyes, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, Turbo Dog by Abita.
Another Abita. Wow.
Yeah, speaking of which, Abita is single-handedly saving me on the craft beer side.
Also, they're genuinely good, too.
All of them have been fantastic. Abita, if you see this,
Please
I
sponsor us.
I would love to be sponsored by y'all. I love everything y'all make so far. This is a brown ale. Supposedly has caramel and chocolate malts. Rich body and a sweet chocolate toffee-like flavor.
Ooh, that's
Pretty
interesting.
excited. Should be good.
Wow.
And some would say the Beast of Geavudan is also a turbo dog.
Geavudan. Anyways, so I got one called Red Bud. This one is a pomegranate lychee green tea. I didn't know that. But it says...
Wait, but it's a beer.
I think so. I'm not sure anymore.
Legends and tea time.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a
Terrors and
one
tea.
that's made in Texas by Independence Brewing.
Okay.
Thought
That's
it was
good.
a beer. Maybe it's not. It says Berliner Weiss or something like that. You can see that, Berliner Weiss. I don't know if it's a beer or not anymore. I've seen this brand before, and I've seen one similar to this dog one, but I don't know if this is a beer or not anymore.
It's just, I'm gonna let you crack yours first.
Yeah, okay.
I want to see if it's a beer,
Yeah. Either way, pomegranate green tea. That sounds good too.
and we're not even.
Yeah,
doing
we're doing
beer
freaking green
anymore.
tea.
Teas. We should do anything you can brew.
That's a green tea.
For real?
It's an alcoholic green tea.
Oh, okay.
So at least it's that.
That would have been so embarrassing
Yeah.
if you were just sitting here drinking a straight up green tea. Like, can you imagine if I was like, all right, for this episode, we're going to be talking about the skinwalker, so I got Arizona tea. Oh, man.
That's great.
Abita knocking out of the park once again.
God dang, dude.
It's like it's rich but light. It's like it's on the cusp of a stout. It's like if you're having a big meal, right? You're having a big dinner or something. You're eating a whole hot brown, shout out Kentucky. But you don't want to Guinness with it because like you're already having so much on you.
Mm-hmm.
But you still want that kind of stoutish deal. Turbo Dog.
This does have the very much has that pomegranate, like it's got that fruity green tea flavor for sure. A little tart, a little sour, and
Good for the old whistle.
you can really old whistle. Now it is a Berliner Weiss, which I'm pretty sure is a beer, and you know what? Let me do a quick Berliner, because it has like a slight aftertaste of a beer. Okay, yeah. So Berliner Weiss is a tart wheat beer that includes two key ingredients:
A tart what?
wheat beer.
Oh, I thought you were either saying white or wheat. You like did a little weird thing.
White beer.
White, wheat,
Yeah.
what?
So it is a beer actually. All right, it's still in there. Can't taste the beer
Wow.
part. It mainly just tastes like a sour tea type thing, but not bad though.
Like a skunked tea.
Oh gosh. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Today's legend takes us to a French county called Gévaudan, or modern day, I believe, Lozère, something like that. I don't speak French. And it follows the attacks of a wolf-like creature that killed over 100 people and injured many, many more. Now, back in the 16th century, Geavudan was doing great. It was a thriving area full of wealth, but then the county was nearly demolished following the French War of Religion in the late 1500s. Now, following that war, it was a pretty sleepy area until the 18th century. In the summer of 1764, a cattle farmer near the town of, oh god, I should have brought up a pronunciation guide for all these French places. Langone? That's more of a Spanish pronunciation. Legon. I'm gonna assume that they just remove half the letters.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cologne. At the
Yeah,
end.
right. That's what it looks like. So I'm gonna assume
Langon.
Langon. Yeah. In the eastern part of Geavudan, it saw an animal coming at her, but the bulls in her herd charged the animal and drove it off after the second attack. She described the beast as being like a wolf, yet not a wolf. Shortly after this encounter, the beast killed its first recorded victim, a 14-year-old named Gina Bolet, I believe. God, I'm so much French. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for any French people that may be listening.
Uh,
But a 14-year-old named Gina Bolet was killed in the village of Les Ubaks. Oh, God, dude, I have no idea. Of Legone. Or whatever.
Legon. Langon.
Legon. But yeah, that's like, what a way to go, dude. Being 14 years old and dying by a wolf attack. That's... Or we don't know if it's a wolf just yet. Maybe it's not. But wolf. Like a wolf, but not a wolf. But
Also, you glossed over it real quick. 100 people?
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. I guess we should have talked about that a little bit more. That's one of the things that blew my mind about this creature is that it's insane. It killed about 100 people and injured up to 300. Well, 200, so 300 total victims though.
Oh my word!
Yeah, over the course
people...
of like 3 years, and it was attributed to the same animal, and that's a lot, dude.
Yeah, how is nobody talking about this
Right?
at any given time?
Yeah, like, okay, so you work in a nature preserve, and I'm sure there's like animal attacks or something from time to time.
Nah.
All right, well, that's even more, like, that proves the point even more. So not only was there actually animals attacking, but 300 people as opposed to like the normal amount of 0. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, you might have like some people get like maybe charged by a bear, but like 95% of the time it's just a bluff charge to try and spook you. And I mean, we've even got like, gators and snakes and all that stuff. And I mean, 100
That's a
by
lot,
one
dude.
one thing in 3 years. That's
Yeah, like that's
crazy.
more than the amount of animal attacks from like God most towns for like the entire year.
The Nandy Bear episode. I think those man-eater lions of Savo.
Yeah.
Those got like 120 people or something like that, if I'm remembering.
Do you know like over what time?
I think it was in a year.
Oh wow.
I think, but that was like a pride of lions, or like it might have been like a group of males that were all hanging together and just going crazy.
The boys were
on
back in
people.
town and getting a little crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but for one
Yeah.
supposed beast,
That is crazy. Yeah. And before we continue, I like one thing I wanted to make sure to stress. Sorry. And before we continue, I don't know if I stressed this yet or like really touched on it, but like this actually happened. A lot of things that we talk about are kind of accounts that are like passed by word of mouth or like a general legend, a story. It's not actually confirmed. This happened. There's actual historical records that this occurred. Like there were 300 people killed by an animal over these 3 years. Or not 300 people killed. 100 people killed, 200 people injured, 300 people affected. But
that's awesome.
yeah, so this is
Well,
everything we cover
sucks
here.
for them.
Yeah, it's tragic. It truly is. But also, God, it's kind of cool. I'd say like the mystery part of it.
As far as this whole genre goes, that's like unprecedented.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, because most of the stories that we're talking about are like alleged, right? This is 100% true. This is like actual documented events.
That's like if in Romania, there's 100 people killed by vampires, and then 200 more were severely injured.
Yeah, and then there's like actual accounts of it and like written word showing it.
Speaking of which, these two people at a car place were making jokes about our last name being Transylvania.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was giving them my name and number, and they're like, "Where are you from? Transylvania?" I was like,
Oh, that's
I've
pretty
never
cool.
gotten that before.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
always get Germany. I never got Transylvania. All right.
Anyway,
So let's talk about like what this animal actually looks like. Now, like we touched on in our last story, the beast of Geavudan, nope, the beast of Geavudan is said to be a wolf-like creature. Now, one report from early on says that it is much bigger than a wolf, and it has a snout that's somewhat like a calf's, and very long hair, which would seem to indicate a hyena, and we'll talk about that later. But some depictions are a little bit more colorful. Another quote says that the creature has a breast as wide as a horse, which, that's freaking big, dude. A body as long as a leopard's. I don't know how big leopards are, but probably long.
they're pretty slinky.
Yeah, they're like all freaking slinky. And fur that was red with a black stripe. So, they got the paint job done. Now, you will.
They sound like a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, right. Somebody went to Los Santos Customs.
Pimp my beast of Geavudan.
Yeah, pit my wolf dog. So you will. Here's a quote from somebody that saw this creature. They said, "You will undoubtedly think, like I do, that this monster, yeah, the father of which is a lion, the mother of which remains to be seen." So,
Whoever wrote that, were they a peasant?
I hope so, because that's it's
Or
poorly
did it
written.
get lost in?
Yeah.
Did it get lost?
No,
in
actually, the
translation?
person who should we'll talk about them later, but and once again, I don't know how to pronounce their godforsaken last names, but it was Jean Chastel, I believe. Everything. I just keep going to Spanish.
And everything,
I don't know.
everything that we've said so far has just been dropping off the end.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
that automatically makes it French.
Therefore, it's French. You say it with a slight accent, drop off the end, French. So yeah, this guy though, he thinks that it is a lion mixed with something else. So, little ecology fact for you: France doesn't have lions. So, pretty wild. Descriptions of this beast have varied so much that most researchers believe that there had to be at least two of the creatures. Sometimes it is said to be the size of a horse, or a wolf, or a bear, or a hyena, or a panther, so it is just absolutely up in the air as to what the actual size of this animal is. But from the most common accounts, I would say that it's likely the size of a large wolf, because most of them say that it is mostly wolf-like and is larger than a wolf, but still, wolf-like. So that's the one that seems to be the most accurate. Most of the accounters also say that it has a wolf-like snout, but some of them say that it's more pig-like, which I feel like that's hilarious. I don't even know what that would look like. But
I don't know, but I'm thinking about it, and I don't really like it.
I'd be ugly as
I
all
don't
get
know.
out.
It makes it creepier for me. I'm not a fan of pigs.
Yeah, pigs are ugly.
I just think they're terrible creatures.
Well, they are, especially in
Yeah.
America. Shit.
Yeah, they're not the best. But I don't know, something about a pig nose.
Yeah, imagine a wolf,
Some
like
people
a
think
real furry wolf, and then a pig snout with its little canine teeth popping out too.
I think it might be because of the pig biker guy from TMNT.
Hmm.
Like whenever I think of, like whenever you're mentioning that it's more pig-like, I was imagining
What
that
is it?
biker.
Like Bebop, or
I don't remember his name.
yeah, it was like I can't remember. There's two of them now. There's the rhino and the pig guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bad dudes.
I want to say one of them was Bebop. Anyways,
That's a terrible name to give to a biker pig.
we need something scary, something badass. What about Bebop?
Well, wasn't that like the whole like 50s rock and roll thing?
I don't know.
They're like, yeah, and they're smoking. They got the leather jackets.
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, this is real bebop.
Yeah, I just searched it real quick. It's Bebop and Rocksteady. Rocksteady was the rhino. Bebop was the...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so very scary names, very scary creatures. Now, going back to the beast of Geavudan, it of course had large teeth because, it wouldn't be much of a monster if it didn't have some big teeth, right? And its ears were described as being small and round, like a couple of nickels nestled in the furry head of an animal. No, I don't know. Just
I was about to say, what?
no, it doesn't say that. It just says that they were small and round, and I think that's adorable. It's like this big old wolf with little like panda ears or something. But it says that they're small and round and lie close to the head, and this doesn't sound very wolf-like. So there's just another little piece of evidence of it having features of a different animal. Its neck was long and strong, and its tail was said to resemble the long tail of a panther instead of that of a wolf, which I'm sure most of you guys know. But wolves' tails are kind of bushier, more of like a straight tail that just kind of goes way, right? Whereas a panther has a tail much like a house cat, where it's fully like what's that term?
They're not like prehensile, but they just have function.
Yeah, they have actual control. There's like movement within its tail as opposed to just the regular wagging of a limp tail like a dog. And they're also longer than dogs' tails by and large. And also, it's said that this tail was so strong that people were knocked down by the force of it. That's a strong freaking tail, dude. Yeah.
Just like a real house cat.
Just like a real, yeah. Car the cat walks by, bam, I'm on the ground. So
what a jerk.
Yeah, no, right? Freaking Cairo cat. So the color of the beast's fur especially changed from sighting to sighting. Sometimes it was red, sometimes red with a large gray patch, or red with faint stripes along its back. Other times it was black with white patches spotted all over its body. No red at all.
That's a skunk.
Yeah, it turns out it's just a giant skunk. A few reports described it as not having any red, black, or white at all, but those are in the minority. Most of them say that it was some variation of having like reddish fur, black, or white. There were more attacks reported across the region during 1764, and the legend of the beast began to grow. The creature was reported to target lone men, women, or children as they tended their livestock in the forest around Geavudan. Now, nearly all the reports have said that this beast would target specifically the heads and necks. Which, I'm going to hop over to Parker here for his animal knowledge. Is that, like, normal?
That's a cat thing.
That's a cat thing, really?
That's a cat thing.
Wow, okay. I could
Dogs, any type of dog, like this kind of goes for bears too, but bears are separate. So a dog, they're built for stamina, you know? Okay. They're built for stamina and then clamping down. So what they'll do, like wolves, say they're chasing a caribou. Caribou are fast for a while. But dogs, kind of like humans, like we're like distance runners, you know, rather than like being super fast.
Well, I mean, I'm super fast, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm faster than you.
What?
My dad could beat up your dad.
It's our dad just beating up himself.
But yeah, so wolves, they'll just eventually, the caribou will tire, and you've probably seen on nature documentaries, they'll like grab a hold of a leg, you know, if they get an artery in the leg or something, they'll just clamp down and hope that sucker bleeds out, and they'll just clamp and hold until that thing dies. Jeez. Most of the time, especially with wolves being pack hunters, like if one gets a good bite on the leg, that trips it up,
and then the others can go on
running as slow, and then the others will latch on, and then they just like kind of just start taking it out till the thing bleeds out.
Jeez.
Most of your cats, though, like mountain lions, they pretty much, like most fatalities from mountain lions, the people don't even see them.
What?
Like they're dead by the time they even know what's happening.
That's crazy.
Because they'll be behind them, and same thing with tigers. That's why people in India and stuff, if they're like out in the woods and they're suspect a tiger, this goes for a lot of places with big cats. You put a mask on or something on the back of your head.
So like, it looks like you're looking there. Oh, I see.
Yeah, you want something that makes it look like it has eyes.
Yeah.
Because they register it as eyes and be like, oh, it's looking at me. I can't attack.
Wow.
You know, cats are more ambush predators. You know, you even see that with house cats.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
A dog will just sprint at it and grab it. If a cat's playing with something, it like waits and pounces. So your big cats will typically try and go for the neck.
Wow.
Some like jaguars, what they do is they pierce the whole head.
What?
Like their bite force is so strong they just crack through the head. But most of them will either go for like the back of the spine, like right at your neck, or fun fact, prehistoric big cats like Smilodon, saber-tooth tiger, it has those saber teeth because its thing was to go up to stuff. Like it had a worse bite force than any of the big cats around today. Because what it would do was come from under, sink the teeth in where it's nice and soft, and then it would turn using the saber teeth to rip the throat out.
Oh my god.
Because the inside of the teeth were serrated.
Man, dude, cats are crazy, dude. They're scary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
wolves and bears, they're scary too. But like, there's something about the maliciousness of big cats that's just like terrifying.
Yeah, if you see like bear attacks, like there's evidence. You know, it's like, okay, they got knocked down here, then they got dragged over here, it tore into them here, they tried to crawl away, then it got them over here. Mountain lions, it's like, all right, they were standing right here.
And they died right there.
It jumped down on top of them. Like, as they land, bite on the back of the neck, done. You're gone.
Oh my lord, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why mountain lions terrify me. I'm like, I would rather see a grizzly because there's something I could potentially do.
Yeah.
I have time to pray
Yeah,
if there's a
yeah.
grizzly.
Wow.
You know, a mountain lion, nope.
God damn.
Anyway.
Dude. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry. That was just a brief aside, all to say that I am faster than Parker. So, some people... no, for real, that's crazy. So, that means that there's a little mark in the, maybe not a wolf category of the Geavudan beast. So, some people have said that this creature has supernatural abilities, like walking on its hind legs like a human, or jumping extreme distances, or even repelling bullets. Like Wonder Woman, it just goes pop, 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 you know, with its arms.
Oh, shoot. Nikki took my silver bullet from me.
You had
Since
silver bullet?
episode one, on my table where I have my laptop and everything, Nikki gave me a little silver bullet that I have just sitting right there. Sometimes I'm constantly playing with stuff. I don't know if you guys can ever see it on camera. But like sometimes I'm just holding the silver bullet in my hand.
Oh, cool.
Of course, the one time
we're actually talking about silver bullet.
werewolf stuff. Yeah.
Right. So, some stories even say that this guy had the ability to come back from the dead after being fatally wounded. So,
Yikes.
yeah, this is a full-on supernatural force of, I don't know, violence or whatever.
That would be... Could you imagine being in the 1700s and you finally kill this thing? It's been terrorizing it, and everybody's cheering. Yeah, town's going crazy. And then you look over, and it's just like slowly just rising back up.
Yeah.
What is
And
that?
then you hear that, like, Return of the Living Dead song, do you want a party?
Yeah.
All right, so in December of 1764, people began to believe that it wasn't just one creature behind the killing, but a pair, which makes sense considering the amount of attacks that were occurring, because, I mean, that's a lot for one animal. They were happening in such a short time span that some of these attacks started happening nearly simultaneously. Some accounts say that they saw two creatures, or just like one creature accompanied by its young. So maybe it's a little pack of beasts of Geavudan.
Little baby beast.
Little baby beast.
Which is my new young adult
baby
series.
abominations. Yeah, there you go. I like that. So now these attacks continued into 1765, but not all of them were fatal. Some people were successful in defending themselves from this creature, but it's hard to tell if some of these reports are true or if they're just fabrications made up by the local press to try and boost morale.
Do you have Chad Kings for me?
I do. I have a Chad Queen, a first ever.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow, that doesn't exist.
Not a first ever. I'm sorry, but a first for Legends and Loggers. That is. But
Sweet.
But yeah, that's one thing I saw a lot of actually is like reports that not all of the tales of like people living, not the tales of people dying, those ones have all been like, you know, verified as being accurate, being true. But the ones of people living though, a lot of them were actually just made up or like stuff that was paid to be made to try and make people feel like they were safe. So found that pretty interesting. So one story recounts a group of children that were out in a meadow tending their cattle when a beast attacked them. The legend says that these kids worked together to drive off the beast armed with a bunch of sticks. So
Nice.
yeah, so this wolf comes at these kids and they just freaking go ham on it.
Solid. I also like to imagine it says like the children were out in the meadow tending cattle. I like to imagine they was just straight up their cattle. Like their parents have their own. And the
Yeah,
children
yeah.
are-
The
They have
parents
their
are out
whole
with like
herd.
all the adult like cattle and whatnot,
Yeah.
and these kids are out here with all the calves.
Yeah, the calves is basically like Thanksgiving kids table.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's a bunch of bold kids right
Yeah,
there.
right. Now that story in particular has often been disputed as to whether or not it was true, because that one, and it seems like it too, is very likely something made up for morale. But another story that
They're like,
followed-
you scared of this thing? These kids got it with
yeah,
some
freaking
sticks.
kids
Hey, calm
come off
down.
with a stick.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, another story follows a woman by the name of Marie Jean Vellet. I am just guessing left and right here. An American, this would be Marie Jean Vallet. All right.
I didn't think about that.
So that's
Marie Jean. If you say these with like American or slightly redneck, then they just sound like they're from Louisiana.
yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, because of the French.
Marie Jean Vallet.
Yeah, or Jeanne. So this story about Marie Jean Vallet, who was a woman who actually was attacked but managed to defend herself from this creature and even wound the beast. Now, because of this feat, she ended up getting the title Maiden of Geavudan, and now has a statue that commemorates her bravery in the village of, oh god, I frick France, you're screwing me here. Avers? Avers? Aver?
Ave.
Yeah.
Ave.
I have no idea. Auvers, whatever that is. And it's a pretty rad statue too. I'll put up a picture. Yeah, so there's our first Chad Queen there.
What'd she defend herself with?
Now, in the statue, it looks like it's like a, what's it called? It's like a staff that the shepherds use.
A shepherd's crook?
Yeah, it looks like it's one of those.
Whoa, that's a scary hyena dog wolf.
Holy crap, that creature's terrifying looking. And you can see that pig
Yeah.
snout kind of thing going on there.
The colored drawing of it, that doesn't look
It looks like
That's scary.
like if somebody described a deer and was like,
like a bad carnivorous deer.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that is the Maiden
Huh.
of Geavudan, and we'll be talking about her later as well. Or I'm sorry,
I like how okay,
Geavudan.
there's one.
What?
I was gonna say I like how there's almost no pictures of it from the front or the other side, but I finally found
There's one. There's just one. Yeah.
Can we? I would like. So when was the statue made?
I don't know, but it was made a long time ago. I know that much.
Okay, because it looks bad.
Oh yeah.
As far as statues go, like if you look at her, that's as far as statues go, that's pretty rough.
It is rough. It is rough, but we forgive it though because they tried their best. So now,
Right.
yeah. You know what? No, Greek people are so much older than them, and those Greek statues, they're incredible.
Yeah, Michelangelo did that super crazy one when he was like 23.
Yeah.
Get with it, French.
Jeez.
Win a war.
What do
then
you-
learn how to make
Do
statues.
something. All right, so now things really started to get out of hand for this little French village to the point where it seemed like they weren't going to be able to take care of this creature on their own. So they had to call in some help from the big guns. Captain Duhamel of the Clermont Prince Dragoons. Now,
They're calling in dragons,
yeah,
dog.
yeah, I know. So that's, oh, yeah. We got to do a quick aside here talking about that because I also was like, a dragoon. Is that just like a weird way of saying dragon? Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like the lamest NFL team, the Clermont Prince Dragoons. That's a freaking bizarre name. But aside from that, if you're like me, you heard that phrase and essentially it just went in one ear and out the other, and all you heard was dragon. So it turns out dragoon is not a fun French way of saying dragon. It's actually more in line with an American cavalry. And there are cavalries in France as well, but there's a little bit of a difference between a dragoon and a cavalry. Or I suppose a cavalryman. Dragoons were a class of mounted infantry that came to be in the early 17th century. And these guys were trained for combat with both swords and firearms from horseback. Now, from what I gather, the difference between this and the conventional cavalry is that a cavalry consisted of like mini riders, right? It was like a whole battalion of just people on horseback. Whereas The dragoons were kind of like just like a specialized part of the infantry. There was just like a few of them here or there. So yeah. Anyways, so that's a dragoon. But Captain Duhamel and his troops were sent down to Geavudan. Now, Duhamel went hard and tried his darndest, but he was unable to kill the creature. One of the biggest problems he faced was just a lack of cooperation from the local herders and farmers. Just for some reason, they just didn't help him out, which I think is...
What?
Yeah, right? Which I think is kind of silly because, hundreds of people are dying.
Didn't they call upon them?
It's not that, like, they called upon him. It's like whoever was in charge of Geavudan, I don't know much about the what's it called, the serfdom or the class system of France in the 1700s.
I imagine they're like, we do not want the dragoon.
We could do it ourselves.
We can handle it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just like, gets attacked. Jean-Pierre can handle it himself, as can I.
Gets eaten. No. Now, this captain had nearly gotten the creature in a few instances, but nothing really panned out. But keep in mind, just because there's hunting efforts going on here, that doesn't mean that the killing has stopped. People are still being attacked and some even dying, which, that's not great. Now, word of how bad things have gotten over these last couple of years got all the way up to the top. King Louis XV decided to send 2 professional hunters down. John Charles Marc-Antoine... Oh, Jesus Christ. It's such a long name, dude.
Mark Antony. Just like Cleopatra.
Isn't that Antoine?
I don't know.
John Charles
Antoine
Vosime de Neval. De Neval? I don't know. Jeez. And his son, Jacques-Francois. There we go. Jean-Francois. Nice and easy.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I like that one.
Killing it.
Now, these 2 hunters took over the hunting efforts from Duhamel, and at first, they tried to tackle this creature using their own strategy. Duhamel formed large hunting parties, while de Neval and his son believed that their best chance would be to take a more stealthy approach. Now,
side note,
yeah.
Whenever I heard you say they tried to tackle this creature,
they actually just
stopped.
went for it, dude.
I stopped listening to the rest of your sentence. I was like, these guys are crazy.
So one of these guys just speared the freaking monster.
Yeah,
what was the Edge's finisher?
Yeah,
the spear. Yeah, it just drops his shoulder, bam, right into the monster.
Right in its gut. Took it to the ground. 3-second count. Watch out! Watch out!
So they decided to use a people's elbow against this animal.
Stone cold Jean-Francois throws up his hand and a wine bottle flies into it.
Smashes it, drinks it. So when the Dayanals arrived, they had brought 8 bloodhounds that had been trained in wolf hunting, which I have to say, dogs being trained to hunt wolves sounds a little bit silly to me. It's like ancestral betrayal,
Yeah, but I mean, there's like the wolfhound.
Oh my god, that's his whole purpose, huh?
Yeah.
It just hounds wolves.
Straight up.
Okay.
Dog.
So, the father-son duo spent 4 months hunting the Eurasian wolves, thinking that one of these wolves would be the beast. But despite thinning out the local wolf population, the attacks continued. This failure led to the... Yeah, I know, right? A lot of wolves died just for no reason.
Once again, shout out old-timey people. They're like, let's just kill them all.
Yeah.
Can't be no wolf attack if there's no wolves.
There's no wolf problem if there's no wolves.
Whoa, they sound cool. I don't know French people that cool.
Flicks cigarette. So, now this failure led This failure led to the Dayanals being replaced in June of 1765 by a man named Francois Antoine. So yeah, apparently the father-son duo didn't last very long, but Francois Antoine came in, and he was actually the king's sole, freaking words, Archespus, I don't know, bear, and lieutenant of the hunt. That was his formal title, lieutenant of the hunt.
That is the coolest title I've ever
rad,
heard
right?
in my life.
Yeah.
that sounds like it's out of The Witcher or
Zac
Lord of the
Wohlstein,
Rings.
lieutenant of the hunt. Like, that's freaking awesome. And now,
man,
what is an arquebus, you ask? It's a form of long gun from the 17th century. It's essentially saying that this guy was just like the premier marksman of the king. So,
I want to say this is so wild that the literal king of France
Yeah.
is sending troops and his favorite marksman.
He literally sent his like
to-
personal bodyguard to go take care of this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like yeah, but like Parker said, let's take a second to like really draw attention to that. Once again, this is a real event. It's especially accounted for because the crown got involved, right? So like, it's not just like a small town and their own record keeping and whatnot. It's the actual formal royal national French like archive that is archiving these events. And yeah, it got so bad that the king had to send out multiple people to go take care of it. The king himself.
That's like if there was a surge of mountain lion attacks in Colorado and Biden sent out Chris Kyle.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be rad.
That'd be the coolest thing he's ever done.
Yeah. It makes me think of that movie, The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then that Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's exactly what that sounds like.
That's literally what's happening here. The top dog is just
Yeah.
sending out like the best of the best.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, actually.
It was like first Green Berets and now Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, go get that killer mountain lion.
And they're losing.
That's an Emu Wars all over.
Exactly. I got huge Emu Wars vibes whenever I was reading this and seeing like they kept sending different people are like regrouping, thinking different plans. Yeah. So Antoine arrives in June, and fast forward 3 months, he shoots and kills a large gray wolf measuring 31 inches tall, 5 feet 7 inches long, and weighing 130 pounds, which is for sure on the larger side for wolves, but it's not like unbelievably huge. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just larger than average. Now, in Antoine's official statement, he says, "We declare." You know, Fark, you want to do an accent and knock this one out for me?
We declare by nope.
We declare by the present report stated from our hand, we never saw a big wolf that could be compared to this one. Hence,
This one.
this one. Hence, we believe this could be the fearsome beast that caused so much damage.
Where's Dominique when we need?
Yeah, right, dude.
We should have called him and been like, how do you pronounce these?
Oh, I should have him just read this whole thing. And let me go
True.
back quick and say this properly for those of you that couldn't understand my horrible attempt at a French accent. We declare that by the present report signed from our hand, we never saw a big wolf that could be compared to this one. Hence, we believe that this could be the fearsome beast that caused so much damage. And from what I gather of old-timey speak, he's essentially saying, we didn't see a bigger wolf, therefore we think this is a wolf.
This is
Yeah.
nice.
Very reliable. It's like, we didn't see one. This is probably it. The wolf was identified as being the beast by witnesses who had survived the wolf, and they recognized scars that they had inflicted on it while they were defending themselves. So this wolf was then taxidermized and sent off to Versailles. Antoine then went on to kill the wolf's female partner and its pup, just to prevent any vendettas, because the last thing this marksman needs is a killer wolf with a grudge after him. So,
Nice.
yeah.
They'll leave no survivor.
Yeah, right.
First, the dragoons take out almost every wolf in the area. This wolf mother's like, shout out to the band Wolf Mother. This wolf mother is like, it's just me and my son. Please let us live in peace.
the wolf mother's like in this like little dug underground wolf den. It's like, don't worry, my son. We have survived. We will live together. And Antoine's like, absolutely effing not.
Yeah. There you are.
No,
They are
please.
this way.
We will say
Boom.
nothing. Oh god.
And then because it's an old timey rifle, he shoots the mother and he goes, "Now, little one, you wait."
Oh god.
Starts putting the ball in, flushing it down.
Oh god.
He's got about 30 seconds before he shoots the next one.
He shoots the mom, and then he just like shing pulls out a sword. Oh god.
Or maybe a twofer where he's got the rifle in one hand and the sword in the other. Bam, shot. Man, this guy,
Oh
he's
god.
not he's definitely a hired military killer, but he's not a very good guy.
Dude, he's not a great guy. This whole time too, dude. I imagine like Terminator essentially. He's like stone cold serious the entire time. He sees the baby. Anyways. All right, so following the death of this last pup, Antoine was satisfied. He finally... oh, God, sorry, this is so funny to me. Following the death of this last pup, Antoine returned to Paris, where he was met with fame, a new title, and new awards, as well as a financial reward of over 9,000 livres. Yeah, if you're dyslexic, it's livres. But I don't know what that is. I guess it's the French currency from the 1700s. Now, I tried to find out the inflation rate converted to U.S. dollars, but I was having too hard of a time doing that. But we can all rest assured that it's a good bit of money, because livres to dollars today was a lot. But look, it doesn't matter. He got a lot of money. All right, he got fame, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Got to satisfy his dark urges to slay puppies. So things are just going well for him.
Yeah.
But wait a tick. 2 full months later, after Antoine slayed the beast, 2 boys were attacked by a large wolf, and that was just the beginning of many more deaths that were reported to be following this one. Which raises a question. Was the beast still alive?
Well, it can come back from the dead, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stupid!
Yeah, stupid Antoine.
God,
you should have stayed.
You're supposed to dismember it. So... for another 18 months, there were around 33 reported fatalities that were attributed to this beast. But with the king believing that the beast had already been killed, there was no aid offered to the villagers. They were on their own. And also, 33 fatalities over frickin' a year and a half? I know it's no 100, but that's a lot still, dude.
Yeah, that's a good bit.
Yeah. Now, these deaths came to an end when local hunter Jean Chastel shot what is believed to be the creature on a hunting trip in 1767. Now, some say this creature was killed by a silver bullet, which Parker does not have with him at the moment. But that seems...
if he comes around here, I'm screwed.
Yeah. But that seems more like it was an embellishment added later on by French writer Henri Parat. I don't know. French words, man. God dang. The body of the creature was brought...
Henry Poor Rat.
Yeah. Henri. Oh, that's all it was, huh? Henri Porat. Porat? Porat. Anyways, the body of the creature was brought to the castle of Marquis de... Oh, Jesus Christ. The castle of Marquis de... It's too many consonants. Aptier? Aptier? I don't know. Aptier, that's what I'm going with.
Aptier.
Yeah, Aptier. Where a surgeon named Dr. Boulanger...
Dr. Bowlegger.
You know what? I want to say this whole sentence over again because I'm sorry, everybody. French words are hard, but it's I'm assuming Boulanger, maybe. Boulanger is what it looks like in American. So, the body of the creature was brought to the castle of the Marquis de Eptier, where a surgeon named Dr. Boulanger did a post-mortem report. He determined that the beast was a large wolf or maybe a wolf-dog hybrid type thing. And during the autopsy, they found the remains of the animal. During the autopsy, they found the remains of the animal. It was there on the table. It's weird.
He's like, I am killing it. He goes,
I found it.
It's on the operating table and goes, I found the beast of Geavudan.
Oh my God.
The greatest.
I've done it.
Also, did you mean post-mortem?
Yes.
Post-mortem.
Okay, look, I've been...
Post-mortem?
I've been drinking, all right. There we go. That's what it's supposed to be. During the autopsy, they found the remains... What? You okay? You're laughing so much your mic cut out.
I'm sweating and crying. And instead of changing it to post-mortem, you changed it to postpartum. My gosh.
I clicked on it and the autocorrect said postpartum, and I was like, well, yeah, absolutely, I want to do that.
Oh, my word. Oh, that's the most I've laughed in a long time.
The funny thing is,
Oh,
the noise cancel on your microphone cut it out. So when it's on my screen, you're just like convulsing. It's just totally silent. So during the autopsy, they found remains of an animal's last victim in its stomach. And seeing as they found the remains of the wolf's stomach and the killing stopped after this wolf was shot, it's looking an awful lot like they found their culprit. But before we put a pin in this story, let's take a look at some of the other explanations and possibilities. Now, seeing as accounts vary a good bit, it makes it a little bit hard to say like what everybody was referring to. Like they might not all have been referring to the same thing, because some accounts described something like a hyena, others were more bear-like, some were more like a big cat, but most of the accounts say that it was something more wolf-like than anything else. Some have said that the creature could have also been an escaped exotic animal, which to the average person in France back in the 1700s, I mean, an exotic animal would sound an awful lot like some sort of creature straight out of mythology. You know, if you didn't even know this existed and you see one outside of your front yard, well, yeah, that'd be insane. I don't even know what to make of it. But one theory says that this animal could have been some sort of hybrid or mutation of existing animals, which would help explain why some of the features vary pretty significantly from account to account. Another theory says that it may be some new species entirely, like an undiscovered species of bear, big cat, or wolf, or maybe even some sort of European hyena. In fact, one of the more popular theories of the creature has been that it was an ancestor.
it was a dirty incester.
It was a known ancestor. That
which
freak.
explained its bloodlust.
Yeah. It's bloodlust. It's bloodline lust.
Yikes. Sweet home Alabama.
Sweet home Alabama. So anyways, in fact, one of the more popular theories is that the creature may have been an ancestor of the hyena that survived extinction. And these animals were a member of the, you want to help me out here, Fuzz? You know that one? Mesonychid family, which would explain the size and just the general description of the creature. But, I mean, as we've discussed multiple times on the show, it is really hard to beat extinction. I mean, like, dang near impossible. In fact, it probably is impossible. These animals were a member of the Mesonychid family. Nope. Even if this animal was from the Paleocene, which I'm pretty sure Mesonychids are from the late Paleocene, but the biggest hole in this is, unlike the Nanny Bear, the Mokolemabembe, or the Thylacine, there isn't a lot of super remote or just undiscovered land in France. And France is pretty well mapped and has been for, centuries. It's also been extremely populated for, pretty much as long as recorded history. So the idea of an animal surviving undiscovered up until the late 1700s, that's pretty out there. And what are your thoughts on that one, Fuzz? What do you think about a Mesonychid?
Yeah, I'd say probably not. I mean, if it was like attacking people and like, it's the Alps that are right there by France, right?
I don't know.
Like if it was like over there
don't know
in
Europe
like
at
the
all, man.
mountains, if it was in the mountains of France, then like maybe, because there could be some hiding
That'd be
places
pretty
from
remote,
there,
yeah.
and like yeah, it's harder to map a whole mountain range, but like it sounds like it's just in this town that's been populated for a while, and it's just like ag land now, like pasture land. Yeah, not a great place for a hidden creature like the Nanny Bear one, where it could potentially be a giant forest hyena. Like adjacent, they had all these like valleys and jungles where they could just come in, attack people, and piece back out.
Yeah. That, and also giant hyenas haven't been extinct for like an incredibly long amount of time, so it's not totally out of the realm of possibility there. But now this next theory is my personal favorite, and it is simply that the creature wasn't any normal animal. It was a werewolf.
Hoo-wee.
Yeah, that'd be pretty freaking cool, right? And there's a couple of reasons why this theory is popular. Now, first, because it's cool. And, it's just a fantastical, fun theory. But the second reason is because of the size of the wolf and how it's often reported to be different than an average wolf, but, a lot like a wolf. It's mostly described as being like a wolf, but not a wolf. And most versions of the werewolf fit that bill to a T. On top of that, like we mentioned earlier today, some of the accounts say that this wolf could even walk on two legs, like a wolf man. werewolf.
Ah.
So, though this theory doesn't hold too
Cursed
much,
by a gypsy, I see.
yes, precisely. What with those traveling gypsies in the 1700s? So though the story doesn't hold too much water, seeing as far as we know, werewolves are just a thing of folklore and mythology. I mean, there's no confirmed werewolves, that is. But that being said, I would absolutely
Till
love
now.
to do, till oh shit. Parker
Dude, our ratings would go through the
Heck
roof.
yeah.
Anyway.
But now I think that would be freaking rad if it actually was a werewolf, and I would love to do some sort of deep dive into werewolves, maybe other like classic monsters as well, because those are still legends, right? That's a form of folklore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool topic
European
for us to
legends
do.
are cool.
Yeah. That being said, the story has inspired many movies, shows, and books around this topic, with most of them looking at the animal as being a werewolf. Not any like normal animal or just the average wolf. In fact, in that 2010 remake of The Wolfman, the wolf-headed cane that Lawrence Talbot receives was originally acquired in the town of Geavudan. They said it on the show. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool in the movie, I should say. But
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, and in that MTV hit show Teen Wolf, that CW version of Teen Wolf, if you will. But one of the characters is it's not actually CW, but it's overly dramatic and all that. Anyways, one of the characters is actually an ancestor of our Chad Queen Marie Jeanette Vallet. Oh God, the Maid of Geavudan we talked about earlier. It looks like the Maid of Geavudan even makes an appearance in the show herself. So 200 and something years later, they're still showing up in media. That's pretty cool. But now moving right along, another really interesting.
Now you don't
theory.
have to watch Teen Wolf to know.
Yeah, we covered it for you. Now, another interesting theory about this beast is that it wasn't a beast at all. It was actually a person.
Dum, 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 dum.
Why do you keep doing the Law and Order one?
It's more fun than doing dun dun dun.
Oh, what about the X-Files, though?
Forgot how that goes. It's the whistling, right?
Yeah. So, some people believe that the beast was actually a serial killer whose grisly methods of murder were akin to that of a wolf, and that the brief period in which the killing stopped was just like a killer taking a moment to let the heat die down to throw people off of its trail. But, off of their trail, I should say, not it. But, this is a pretty cool theory, but the big problem here is that the attacks were certainly that of an animal. I mean, these 1700 French countrymen were very familiar with what animal attacks looked like. These guys have been around, wolves and bears and all that type of jazz for as long as time has been a thing. So, I mean, they know exactly what an animal attack looks like, and there's been plenty of physical evidence pointing to the culprit being an animal. What animal? That's a little less conclusive, but, I mean, they can be certain that it was some sort of creature.
That would be a little hard to cover up.
Yeah, that's a bit of a reach.
Over 3 years, 100 murders. You have to always make it look like a wolf did it. That's just no.
That's tiring.
And yeah, there were survivors.
Yeah. I
like,
didn't even think about that. There you go. Like people saw the animal, and it's not just claim to have seen it. People were hurt. They were actual victims of the creature and survived. So. Yeah.
I can wear my bear skin behind me. It's the head is kind of like a hood, and I can grab onto the front paws. But if I do that, you're not going to think I'm a bear.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And now we come to our final and most probable theory, and I'm sure you've already guessed what this last theory is. Wolves.
Whoa!
Yeah, right? Crazy. If it looks like a wolf, sounds like a wolf, kills like a wolf, well, then it's probably a wolf, right? Historian J.M. Smith says, the best and most likely explanation is Geavudan had a serious wolf infestation. He believes that the beast of Geavudan was not a lone animal, but a pack of wolves in the area that had been attacking the locals. Now, wolf attacks are not uncommon in France at this time, so... In fact, there were an estimated 9,000 fatal wolf attacks between the 16th and 19th centuries. So, I mean...
Shoo!
Yeah, it's not even a far-fetched idea to think that it might be a wolf. Or, the wolf attacks.
They were getting after it.
Yeah, dude. I have not heard
French
of that many wolf attacks.
French people must taste great.
Period. But, man... Yeah, I guess that's what it is. French people are delicious.
Yeah.
So what made Geavudan so special? Well, it's mainly the consistently close proximity to the populated areas as well as a high number of attacks. I mean, 300 victims, that's a ton. And just like a little concentrated area. Now, personally, this theory makes a lot of sense to me, and my guess is that this is exactly what it was. A pack of wolves that may have been, just, a little on the larger side, and the fear that gripped the town just led people to embellishing their stories or even misremembering their encounters to be a little bit more frightening than what it actually was. And I mean, not to say that a wolf attack isn't already frightening, because like that sounds terrifying, but they started to make it a little more supernatural and whatnot, just thinking about it and replaying it in their mind.
Yeah, the same thing happens with especially snakes. I've noticed because people, they're scared of them, and they'll like call me or they'll take me to see the snake or something. They're like, "This thing is like 6 foot long," and I go over there and I'm like, "This is a good 2.5."
Wow.
Like, what are you talking about? 6 foot? And they're like,
yeah, exactly.
It was this big around. And I'm like, what were you saying it was? And they're like, it was a rat snake. I was like, no rat snake gets that big.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. Not that big around.
So yeah, there you go.
What are you talking about?
People get so freaked out, so scared that they see this and essentially over.
And and getting attacked by a wolf would be a lot more frightening than just seeing a snake.
Yeah, and you're not going to be like. Really,
I can believe it.
Yeah, you're not going to be like seeing things. I don't want to say straight or like correctly, but yeah, you're going to get your wires crossed. That's the phrase. You're going to get your wires a little crossed there.
Yeah, it doesn't really explain like the kind of methods of killing that we heard about, or like the red stripes and stuff. I mean, yeah, wolves could have like reddish hair, but
like specifically, it was thought to be the Eurasian wolf. I don't know if you've seen what that one looks like.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna send you a picture real quick if you like, but they do kind of have a reddish tint to them. Are you searching for it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They got like a little bit of a reddish tint to them, but I mean, no more than like your average dog or like cat.
Yeah, but it's not like demon dog red.
No. And they are pretty big, so I do get that. But yeah, so there you have it. That is the Beast of Geavudan in a nutshell, and it is a tragic story, seeing as so many people lost their lives, but the mystery of it all is something that has been super compelling. I mean, even 250 years later, this is still like a well-known encounter or a event, if you will. People are still talking about.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's cryptid or spooky stuff, or just wolves going crazy around there, just deciding to kill people.
Yeah,
like that's crazy that it was that many people, and like the king of France was sending people
exactly.
out.
I think that's the big thing about it, is that the scale became so huge, but not just in the deaths, but in the scope of influence that it had on the country itself.
Yeah, that's like unprecedented from what I know.
Yeah, like can you imagine a bunch
crazy.
of animal attacks in America that got so bad that the government had like the high level Washington D.C. government had to send people in. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, before we sign off, what do you have for us next week, Parker?
Next week, we're going to be talking about a wampus cat, or the wampus cat, I should say. It's pretty popular, kind of tall tale within mainly like Southeast or Appalachian culture. It's a strange cat-like beast that you get warned about it lurking in the forest of certain places. And it's also related to one of my favorite words in the English language, which is cattywampus.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
They're like 2 and 2, because we'll get into it next week. But like cattywampus means that like it's not right.
Oh my God! And if you take cattywampus and flip it, you got
wampus cat.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, how about that?
Yeah, so there you go. But we'll talk more about it next week.
All right.
Getting some pretty cool origin story on the old wampus cat. It should be a good time.
Nice. And I think that's all we got for today. So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. If you guys have any of your own spooky stories or want to come on the podcast, be sure to email us at
legends@woolstein.media. You can see it in the description below.
Or check us out on social media at Legends and Loggers. Send us a comment, DM.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Or you can send us a text at 859. All right, I'm sorry.
You're cutting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come on the podcast, let us know. We'll definitely get you on. But thank you all for watching. Stay wild.
Yep, and live life legendary.